Why, hello there, everyone, and welcome to tonight's event, the first major event of Roll for Chaos here. We have our very first episode of the Dreams of Silver and Stone. I'm here with our lovely cast members, many of them decked out in some awesome outfits, me being a little boring. And Strat, I'm going to call you out. You're boring with me, but it's good because we can hold hands and sing Kumbaya together. So to everybody else out there in the audience, we're going to go around the table. We're going to say hello to these fabulous actors. We're going to get to know their characters a little bit, and then we're going to jump into tonight's events, getting to play this game and hopefully entertain. And I hope you all enjoy and run along for the ride with us, of course. As always, we appreciate you, and I want to thank you, Hey Doyle specifically. Thank you very much for dropping that bomb there in chat. We appreciate that. And for the follows and things like that. So for tonight's events, we are going to go in a random direction. I've got 6 players. I got a D6. I'm going to roll it, and we're going to see who goes first tonight.
It's going to be me.
Will it be Anna?
Yeah,
Yes.
Or is it a new?
That's actually Stratful Dice.
Ah.
We're going to go with you two
Maybe
first.
the new.
Why don't you explain who you are, what you're feeling about tonight's events, and who your character is, and what we can expect from them.
So short and sweet, I guess. Hello, everybody. I'm Stratful Dice. I'm really happy to be here. I've been through 3 now campaigns with some wonderful people here. Always a wonderful Ty, and I can only imagine what is going to be of this new adventure, especially with your good old friend No, the Tinker Kobold, and maybe a little boring without the cosplay, but oh, look, here's Nohu. Look at him. A friendly little kobold that doesn't have anything happening to him. He's just a pile of sugar, and well, you know, sometimes sugar is a little bit bad on you if you overdose on it, and things tend to escalate with Nohu to the point where, yes, some things tend to explode, yes, something tends to catch on fire, but really, he just means well. He's just interested in everything that you put in front of him, especially if it's shiny, and maybe he'll have a nice little place within the party, whether it is as a companion or maybe as the responsible for somebody's death. Who knows? Mysteries.
I'm guessing
We'll see
first
how
5
that
episodes
turns
know
out.
who kills someone accidentally.
Hey, Barty, thank you very much for the sub bomb. We appreciate it greatly. We love you. And we're going to move counterclockwise, continuing. We're moving on over at this point to Patchy. Sinan,
What?
it's your turn, rat.
Speak up!
I can't talk any louder than this.
Yes. No, I don't need no Empire pamphlets. Hello, everyone. My name is Sinan, and I'm playing the with these claws. It's hard to touch to speak. I'm playing the. I'm Sinan as Irish. This is my 3rd ANS game. So excited to be here, playing Patchy, the adorable, youthful Skixen alchemist who's just wants to be just happy to be a part of the team. Is not bitter about anything at all, and will probably his ambition for the impossible will probably not get everyone killed. I'm happy to be here. I have a cat. Yeah, cats are cool.
You do have a cat. And I hope that fixed my audio issues I was having. Thank you for letting me know, by the way, Azedadine. Moving on from there, from the youthful, exuberant young man that is Patchy, over to
Stop.
We're
Steven
saying
and
lies now.
Kaizen.
Hello. I am Steven, also known as the El Deviant Devil, and I will be playing the character Kaizen. He is an Imni, which is a race that we've not seen yet. He comes from a planet lost to time called Sedna. There was a time war and a huge issue, and now it's just gone. But he's been slipping through time streams trying to find his way back. Hopefully one day he will. We'll see.
We'll see what happens as he has that crack following him everywhere in time and space.
Good times.
We're gonna continue
is
moving.
bad.
The crack is following you
Crack
around
will do that to
everywhere,
you.
Kaizen. You gotta learn to
It's pretty
overcome
good
that.
crack.
Yeah. You gotta stop dragging that thing everywhere you go.
Cut it out on the crack. Yeah.
It might save us all, so I'm just gonna keep with it.
It might save us all.
Lord.
I heard there's programs to get rid of all your crack problems, but
You know, 12
One day to
steps and all that.
Are we
at a
his
time.
program to get rid of his crack problem? Is that what this is?
Maybe.
no, I don't think this party's gonna get anyone off of hard drugs.
Correct.
Well, speaking of hard drugs, we move on over to Clay. Rob, your turn.
That's fair.
I'm Robbie Rowling, but tonight I'm super excited to be Clay, the Outer Clan, because that's right, I'm not part of those Silver Shield folk. Dwarf Scoundrel, which is a new class. You may have seen it on some of the 119 games, but I'm super excited for my second game, Aether and Steamworks. This is going to be a hoot, and just ignore the prisoner tattoo I have on my hand, and we'll be good.
Of course, and for disclaimer's sakes, there will be no further Kettas in this game, so don't worry about that, everyone else. You can actually choose to like Rob this time and possibly enjoy that. That's fine.
Do you see
can
his
do
shirt?
that.
You can't choose to like him.
I don't buy it.
Only you can.
Only you can.
Correct. Correct.
So we'll move on over at this point to Kiara. Yeah, did I say that right? Kiara, right.
Hi,
Anna,
guys.
why don't you go?
Hi everyone, I'm Sanctum Cosplays. I am playing Kiara. I am not playing anything new. I'm playing a Toozy Jack, the tried and true that's in that, good old 1.5 rulebook that you can pick up on Drive-Thru RPG. There you go. There's your plug.
Plug.
I'll expect the Venmo for the $20 later, Ty. But yeah, Kiara's definitely different from any of the other characters I've ever really played in TTRPGs, so it'll be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, as long as you're not running away from everything, I'm sure the rest of the party
She
will
doesn't.
be...
She doesn't run away. She just isn't ever there to have to run away from things.
True. Just stays out of harm's way.
She's just never there.
All right, and moving on over to Nova and Glitz Gamer.
Yeah, Nova, Glitz Gamer. And Nova is an Ekata, which is a class that we haven't seen quite yet, which is basically the power of imaginary friends. So I'm excited about that. And Nova is the adopted daughter of a favorite, Alice McCree, maybe just my favorite, but a favorite of mine anyway. And she was actually on Sparrows last season, played as an NPC by Ty. So then she blew up and then was gone for a while. And now she's back. So we'll see how it goes. I'm very, very excited for this game and to play with everybody here. I love everyone here so much. And it's going to be really fun.
Well, no pressure, Ty. Just chill. Okay, ready. Everybody likes playing your game. We can do this thing.
I love playing your game, Tyson.
So we are going to actually jump into said game now. Woo! Cheers all around, everybody. Yeah. Here we go. So, the very first thing that we see at this point in time is an airship traveling in towards a planet that happens to be mostly grays, browns, greens, a little bit of shady clouds covering a large surface, a lot of rainfall. We see this ship going down through this rainfall and then coming out over top of a large field full of moisture, full of swamp matter, lots of large mushrooms and trees everywhere. Looks like a mix between a jungle and your garbage can, somewhere right in between there. And as the ship flies down, we see an outpost that happens to have a lot of running lights and things set up, dwarves down there moving to and fro, Empire soldiers keeping an eye on these things. And we see the symbol of the ship pass by us. And as it flies beyond, you can see something that looks like a large tankard. It's got a logo that has a frothing alcohol of some kind inside of a cup with two hands clashing together these drinks. And it has the words, where is it at? Budhauser Brews on the side of it. As this ship moves past the camera and starts heading down towards the dock, our vision moves past a large banner that bridges a causeway. The banner says, "Welcome to Miocenis" in large, bold print. But off to the side, there's a small warning sign little bit of a exclamation point, cross blades, a skull that happens to be like staring you in the eyes deeply, as it states on this sign, the Empire recommends all travelers to stay within the confines of Empire-controlled sections of this world, the major cities, and taking protected caravans between the towns. Any travel outside of these locations you do at your own peril. Miocenis is home to dangerous creatures and terrorist organizations that are looking to advance their own cause at any cost. The Empire thanks you for your citizenship. See your local constabulary for questions. And travel agency Murky Tours is on your left, and the gift shop is at the end of the hall. As our sight
They got a
swings,
gift shop.
Yeah.
as our sight swings out further to see the approaching airship, it's moving in towards a large docking bay. And that logo very prominently displayed on multiple surfaces surrounding this ship. It's very obviously a merchant ship of some kind. The Budhauser brand has expanded to Miocenis only recently to formulate new and exciting drink varieties. Now we swing in towards the ship as it lands and see it kind of bumping into place. They throw down chains and ropes to secure the thing and to bring it down safely into the little divot that can hold this airship. We find ourselves moving through the porthole on the side of this ship and see a crew moving rapidly about, getting ready for dock, unloading process as they begin their work. They're moving down through busy hallways, beyond the dwarves and humies wearing the red and gold uniforms of House Budhauser, through a cargo holding unit until we see a young and semi-dapper dwarf just resting his laurels in a very obviously handmade and hurried cot, his hat pulled down over his face. Shaking his head awake as the ship thumps into the dock and hearing the sounds of approaching crew, the hat comes back up and we see the face of Clay poking out. Clay, you aren't supposed to be here, and you hear individuals starting to move through the shipping hold. How do you react?
Does it sound like there's a lot of different people here?
Since you got on board this place, you found the quietest corner that looks like it was a bit dusty, a bunch of things here you had, and you've been traveling for a while. But at this point, there is like 5 or 6 different booted feet moving directly into the hold and are starting to close in on your position.
Okay. I'm going to just stay and look like I basically passed out. In fact, I imagine that they have like a couple steins laying around, and I'm gonna kind of put some around me and like stay unconscious for them to find me.
Splash yourself with the dregs of alcohol to smell like booze temporarily, something like that. All right, so one of the soldiery starts moving through, and let's see if they notice you. I'm gonna have you give me an agile roll to see if you stay out of sight if necessary.
Great.
And we'll see what the dwarf does.
One of the
First
many
roll.
steps to the negative in.
You did get a 13. The dwarf says they move through the area. You did pick a good hiding spot. You put yourself really out of sight, and they move through and they grab some supplies and they turn and they leave. And you figure they'll be back soon, but they didn't notice you yet.
Great. Then is the hold seems empty then?
Relatively empty at the moment, but you know you only have about a minute.
Great. Then I'm gonna look around for a spare uniform if there is one.
Give me an aware roll, and if you get higher than a 15, you might find something that'll pass.
Nope.
2. Clay, so we're gonna say narratively, unless you do some sort of re-rolling shenaniganry, you are searching through the hold and you're not finding anything that resembles what they're currently wearing.
For sure. Yeah, I think you know what I'm gonna do? I will kind of rush up, like looking panicked, and try and find the nearest like low-level employee I can.
You rush out, you spin around the hallway, give me a d20 roll. The higher you roll, the more successful you are at finding just average Joe. That is a 3. As Clay bursts around the corner looking for assistance, he finds himself in front of a house aerocrat, somebody who's in charge of the ship, not the captain, but someone who's in charge of trade and travel. Looking over. No. What do we have here? And as he does that, you see his hands go down to a little AEC on his belt where he prepares to hit an alarm button. And we're going to come back to you in a moment, Clay.
Okay, cool.
Good job, Rob.
At this point, the scene goes black. We switch out to a new location. It is a flash of the void, empty, timeless. We see the stars in the sky kind of blending positions, moving rapidly, but not at all. We see images of the flickering of ghosts, friends old and new, coming to Nova's mind as she's kind of trapped in this space. We see the twist of her wrist. We see blades in the dark coming out, stabbing, striking, running for her life. We see dinner at a table with companions suddenly. The meal, good, but alien. When we see a curve of a strange mountain range, footfalls on the sand and darkness with red sun. We see a large field of battle, blood and bodies around it. Nova standing there breathing hard and covering wounds that she's carrying. We see the face of a strange dark-skinned elf. Nova, the world suddenly snaps into view. Not like before, not like it's been. It's solid, it's less dream and more reality. You savor the lingering scent of earth, mud, loam, something that reminds you a little bit of growing mold, like something off of an orange peel, but not unpleasantly so. And you happen to see a familiar sight. The world around you and the soft squish of mud under your feet bring forth some memories that you've had. Errant voice, distant, so far away. The southern drawl of your mom, Alice McCree. You remember camping in an area just like this, and you recognize that you are on Miocenis now. Where you've been for so long is like a passing dream, as just a moment. You know you've escaped. You can see the sun on your skin, and it's staying there. It's not everywhere at once. And while you're standing there and getting your bearings, you see in front of you that same dark-skinned elf, red hair, blue of eyes. His visage looks of someone who's consumed too much drink or something, someone who might be about to be ill. What is your first reaction?
I guess I'll go and try to touch him.
You bring your hand forward, you put your hand on his shoulder, and it is solid.
Are you okay?
Guys, just so you're aware, we move over to you real quick. You had followed paths through time. The call you'd heard led you to an empty, lost place where you found the Avari, the elf woman with the strange hair, and the illusory friends. You found a crack, a hole in time and space that you reached out and helped form, helped shape at the time. But that was now missing, replaced by this strange world. All of it feels too hard, too unyielding, and try as you might, you can't quite get your feet, you can't get your bearings, you can't feel those pathways that walk through time that you were able to use for your entire life. And it's like gravity is pulling on you too much, like you're pressed against concrete as everything around you is just so solid. The wind stays, the sky stays, the ground stays. Your stomach, your inner ear starts spinning. The steady sounds that are here are strange and alien. You don't know how to handle it. And then when Nova touches you, it's like a lightning bolt just shoots through your entire body, a sensation you have never witnessed. Everything feels off. How do you react?
I'm doing fine. I just need to sit. How are you? Are you good?
I know where I am.
I don't. Care to elaborate?
Yes. We're on Miocenis. I used to go here camping with my mom when I was younger. This is the Aether sphere. I'm real.
We're in the Aether sphere.
Yeah.
The shock of that weight hits you. It is very obvious you're not at home, Kaizen. And looking around at this solid world, the implications of that are so much as to almost overload your mind, and you feel a deep welling of emotion like you haven't in a great deal of time. You find yourself having a hard time holding back tears temporarily.
If you please excuse me. I need to have a rest.
I don't know. Are you okay? You're barking like a dog. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a very strange place.
God, I know. You can sit and we'll talk.
Fantastic. I need to know as much about this place as possible and how I may have gotten here. Where did you come from?
You mean where did we come from? Or where did I come from before? Or where did I come from before?
Where we were, how did you get there? And before that, how did you get there?
I blew up and then I was there where we were before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nova
Time reason.
remembers the hand of a friend of your mother's reaching out for you right as the explosion was happening.
Oh. A very tiny mage might have had something to do with that. But anyway, we were there, and then before that, I was in Aether. I was in the outer space. No, I was on a space station. I don't remember. It was a really long time ago. It's been probably 100 and some odd years, I think. I've been gone. Everyone I know is probably dead.
Wow. Do you have any idea what year that may put us in? How long This is all very strange. I come from a place that is not restrained like this.
We were in the year of our Lord, 1880. I have no idea. Where were you talking?
The year when you left was 80 IC, so the 80th year of the imperial calendar after the monarchy fell. When she tells you 80 IC, that doesn't make any sense to you. That's not a calendar you're aware of.
That's impossible. I really don't know where I am. I'm just going to sit down.
It's squishy.
You find a not so squishy place to sit down on a mossy rock, and we see Nova moving over and sitting beside Kaizen as the two of you attempt to take in the surroundings and kind of get your bearings. Off to the side of you, you hear Cosmo just...
Down, Cosmo. Down.
What?
Cosmo? Oh my gosh! Is Stella there too? Stella!
Stella moves over to the side of you and just licks your hand.
That's kind of an awesome sound. Thank you, Ty. That's the first time I heard that. I didn't think they were real. I thought I was imagining them. I can't believe that they're here. Can you see them? Do you see them?
I
You
do.
have no idea what she's talking about, actually.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm not really sure what you're... perhaps you are a bit feeling under the weather as well.
No, I'm totally
And as Nova leans over and vomits into the swamp, we change scenes once more. We see a small community built into the side of the land. There's a large overhanging. There's a large cliff face, kind of mesa style. Like part of a hill was chopped in half, and on that hill there is a wooden fenced ringed community. I'll actually bring up the image of Stuckfoot real quick, just so everybody can see. So there it is now. When it comes to everybody that's out there watching, you can of course see the little tiny map right there in the bottom underneath me. It's down here. And anyway, so Stuckfoot is a small village situated on a raised section of the land. It's a small community, maybe no more than 20, maybe 30 people at a time on average, that sometimes make their way to this location. The people that live here are generally very accepting of outsiders and try to work as a community spirit, but people that aren't willing to pull their weight don't stay very long. Now, it's small enough that the Empire tends to overlook it, but large enough that some people could use it as a stopping point as they're traveling from one place to another. And we move in through this village. We see a large variety of Skixins, some Humies, a couple of gnomes, and maybe a small Chancer family kind of moving back and forth out in the streets. We see a large pool of water sitting in the middle of this fortress that happens to be glittering with like an effervescence. And out in front of it is a young and beautiful woman who happens to be like glowing in the light, who's just kind of sitting over top of this area and growing flowers and plants and keeping the gardens at the center of Stuckfoot beautiful. We move past them over to a small hut that is attached to a watchtower. Inside of this small hut, we hear bubbling noises, we hear popping, we hear a couple of hissing noises coming from a cat that we see right outside the doorway attacking small beetles and then immediately grabbing one up and turning and ripping back into the house. As it goes running through, we happen to see Patchy. Why don't you describe what we see you doing inside of your hovel as Felicia runs over and drops a beetle at your feet?
So yeah, Patchy's kind of, as his name suggests, as like grayish, or it looks gray because of all the dirt. He has grayish fur, but it's all growing in patches, or seemingly patches. or have like different heights in different areas, and he basically grabs the beetle, and I was thank you, Felicia. Oh, I can always count on you, can't I? And then I drops it in a little vial mixed with this color, this vial full of liquid that keeps changing color from like yellow to neon green to purple. As I drop it, it like goes poof, and a bit of smoke comes out, and I go, oh yes, all right, yeah. And take it to a bunch of other like little microscope and put a little droplet there and start looking at it.
The smell of
almost
sulfur.
Hear a little like scream coming from afar.
Oh, shut up, you! I didn't touch you today.
You gotta.
Ooh, you called me a good one, Felicia.
Felicia moves over and like rubs that big body up against your leg, almost tripping you.
Oh, my dear Felicia. How are you today? Did you eat any bugs? You going good? Fooled yourself? Oh, you want your special treat? Okay, I gave you some of your special treat. All right, there you go.
Felicia like grabs it and then just bolts over towards a shaft of sunlight coming in through a window.
Oh, give me some of the 5 more one of those bug beetles. Yes, good.
Right. As we see Patchy doing that, Kiara, you have been tasked.
No one near that shop.
You have been tasked with collecting a poultice for Melody, the Skixon that owns the inn in town. A couple of the animals at the shop have been damaged, have been hurt, and she's asked you to go get something that'll numb their pain from Patchy's
Really
shop.
rather stay nowhere near Patchy, actually.
We see Kiara begrudgingly moving towards the front of the building, and as you're standing out there, like looking at this ominous shop with smoke rising out of it, with the scent of both sulfur and scotch like coming out of it all at once, you happen to see a small kobold come walking through, heading in that direction as well. No,
I will take my chances with the explosion kobold so fast.
Nohu, you have stopped into Stuckfoot the second time this week because you're searching for things out in the swamps, for adventures, for new experiences, and every time you head towards the Empire Way, up there towards the main travel fair, they have been firing weapons at you. You don't understand why. So you've had to go in a different direction, and so far Stuckfoot has been nice to you. But you do see one of the villagers here, Kiara, moving towards the same house that you've become very curious about what that smell is that's coming outside of it.
All right. Well, Nohu is a bit of a small creature, just barely past 3 feet tall, and by the and he goes better by Patchy's namesake, because all of his clothes are mended by hand or patched through, and not just the clothes that he wears, but also part of his body, as fingertips, nails, a bit of his at the tip of his muzzle, and even the very tail end of his tail are byproducts of adventures, he will say, that ended with rather well-known memories that now reside in aspect of like welded like little pieces of metal or things that will compensate for the lost extremities or body parts that he's been through. But as he walks through and entranced by the smell, he'll just have a happy-go-lucky expression on his face as curiosity is like guiding him through. You can practically see if there was a smoke trail, you will probably see the smoke trail like pulling him from the nose.
He's got like that nose up on top of the tiptoes, kind of like dancing towards it,
like the cartoon floating to follow the pie smell, but it's like
oh. What is this he smells? So Nohu, you've gotten closer and closer, and you almost walk into Kiara, who is like standing in front of you, staring at you, as you're paying attention to whatever that incredibly ominous odor is.
Indeed, and by Nohu's nature, it would have taken like him bumping straight into Kiara for him to notice anything else at the moment. As you can clearly see that his focus is in a sort of on and off switch. As the moment he stumbles with you, his head practically shifts like a straight arrow against you, and all the attention given to the smoke seems to have shifted at the moment, as he looks with bright white eyes, a goggle with one lens completely clear and well kept, and the other broken, small glasses of shards of glass still lingering slightly around it.
That's not safe.
Eyes like, look, danger is close to it. Hi, I'm famous.
What do you speak in, Nohu? What language are you currently speaking in?
Well, since you said this is the second time here on this week, and he's been in here for a month or so, he's been known to, or he understands that Kotre is the most common language in here.
All right. So he's speaking in Kobold at the moment.
No.
He's
Kobold.
speaking
Kotre.
gibberish.
A Kotter is the Kobold language, I believe.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Is it Mio then?
It would be Mio.
Oh, yeah, sorry, then Mio.
Still speaking gibberish.
Mio is part Skixen, part Chancer, part Swamp Folk.
Okay.
So you can
I
get
got
like
2 of the 3.
you can get like 25%, maybe 30%. You can make a brains roll to see if you can understand what he's saying or attempting to say.
Sure.
It's kind of
let's
like the
do
deep
it.
South Creole accent where
Yeah.
it is English, but real hard sometimes to distinguish what you're saying.
I'd say
14?
you get the general gist of what he's saying. It wasn't a large or complicated sentence. So, how do you
Can
react, Kara?
Can I assist you?
What are you speaking in?
Skeen.
All right, so in Skeen, since that is the Skixen language, it is mostly clicks, body motions, like pats on the ground and objects around there. So you're kind of dancing in front of him right
voguing.
now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you speak Skeen? No.
I do not.
Good. This is off to a great start.
So
I'll just start
Kiara,
with an improvised dance number next to her.
Kiara and Nohu begin dancing in the courtyard, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Can I hear them from my store, by the way?
How engaged do you get when you are working on your projects?
Pretty engaged. But if there's someone right outside my door, I alarm bells start ringing.
Alarm bells begin ringing. Okay, well then
Or like
we'll say
I'd like to know if there's someone like close to my place. So I don't know. I guess I'd be
roll aware for me. I'm gonna say anything higher than a 10, and you'll recognize the dance competition happening in your front yard. Oh, nope, that's 7. You're too busy.
They're not interesting enough.
No, they're not being interesting enough. So we switch back to Clay. You happen to see someone who is directly from the house that owns this ship, the Budhauser house. The individual in charge, his name is Clayton.
Okay, good. So the instant he like looks at Clay, immediately like said kind of the same expression. Immediately outrage. So you're the one I probably need to be speaking to. Now I had the intention that this was going to be a low-key pleasure cruise for me and my family. You of course know who I am, right?
Low-key pleasure cruise. What language are you speaking?
Dwarf.
Okay.
Wait, are they human?
Yeah, it's a dwarf.
Okay, yeah, then dwarf.
All right. Low-key pleasure cruise. What gave you that?
Did your
confounded instruction?
superior not tell you about me? Do you not know who I?
He looks you up and down, seeing the patchwork attire that you're currently wearing and claiming to be a noble. Why don't you give me a charming roll real quick, just to see how well he goes along with this?
Of course.
So, how many times is Rob gonna ask to speak to someone's manager in this game?
So
23. Question 23. So you actually give him a moment's pause. So he stops and he goes, "What's your house name?"
and I really quickly, like the FBI show a noble symbol. The name's Clay Copperpetal, and I demand proper treatment. I maybe went a little hard in my corpse the other night and fell asleep in the hold, and no one took care of me. No one took me back to my quarters. No one. I am outraged. You are lucky that my family paid up front, sir. So, what's your name? What's your identification?
I'm Clayton Budhauser. Now I'm really confused as to what you're saying exactly.
I'm so sorry, sir.
Well,
the important person is talking right now. So here's what we're gonna do. You're going to give me some compensation for this myriad of mistakes that has gone on in this pleasure cruise. Otherwise, you and your company will hear no end to the negative reviews and poor word of mouth. Do you know how important word of mouth is? Didn't you just open up your places here in Miocenis? I would love to nip that right in the bud with my family's influence.
Yes, I wouldn't want to be hasty. Now, would we, Mr.
Of course
Copperpetal?
not. Of course not.
Let me just check our shipping records real quick. I understand that you had intended on having a much more enjoyable cruise, and I do apologize. I know that our hold is not comfortable as a location. I'm very surprised. Where did you say you were staying in the hold?
Well, I was just, I'm not gonna lie, I was having what I do believe is very good ale, and I maybe forgot exactly where I ended up. But I was supposed to be staying in a actual room. I thought, not, listen, I wanted to be incognito, thus the outfit, but I didn't mean that much.
Mr. Copperpetal, I have to apologize. Someone must have been pulling
Excuse
your
me,
leg.
sir, that's Sir Copperpetal.
Sir Copperpetal. Right. Sir Copperpetal, someone must have been pulling your leg. There must be a mistake here. You see, we are a merchant vessel. We are not, we don't take passengers anywhere. So it's very confusing to me. You see, we only have quarters for the crew, not for other engagements. Are you part of some organization I should be aware of? Because this is my ship.
Of course. Well, I had been understanding that someone above you, someone in the company had set this all up with my family. Did you not get your orders?
Lucian, would you come here, please? You hear him shout out to security. You see a few other individuals that like move past you in the hall, going into the hold, kind of just errantly, rubbernecking as they stare at what's going on in the hallway. And you see a large Lesrin come walking towards you. Yes, Mr. Budhauser. His voice kind of echoes out into both of your minds. And he looks over at him and he goes, "Excuse me, did you make some sort of arrangement to have someone transported on board this ship without my permission?" No, sir. Not me.
I'm gonna do like this motion to my Clayton, my new friend.
He kind of looks over towards you. What?
I'm gonna like conspiratorially lean in. Now, I don't mean to cast aspersions, but I was told we had worked with the Lesrin and he'd cleared it with the captain. Now, I'm sorry to say, but I think some money might have just been put under the table under both of our noses. Hate to be that person, but I mean, you know how it is. Noble families, a lot of silver, people looking to make an extra buck.
Clay, they're going to make one more charming roll for me, but your roll target is just increased based on some knowledge based around the crew here.
Of course.
Oh, 22. You give him reason for pause again. And the individual, the owner of this ship, turns and goes, "Look, I need to have a chat with our captain. I tell you what, Mr. Copperpetal, excuse me, Sir Copperpetal.
Thank you.
I will give you access to the guest chamber I have available now. You can stay there for the interim. We do have a lot of loading and unloading to do. For your own personal safety, I would recommend that you stand aside while that goes on. And once I get to the bottom of this, you will hear from me again. I do apologize for any potential problems you have had and for any miscommunications regarding this ship, the locations it was going, or its intention.
You better. You better.
Now, if you'll come with me, and he looks over at a security officer, it's just like, I'll speak with you later. You see the Lesrin kind of shake his head, scratch the back of his neck, look at you, like daggers start to appear in his eyes, like you just got him in trouble for something he's very sure he did not do.
Just hold my head up high in a very noble, just like, peasant.
And we see Clay get escorted into a rather opulent room within the ship. There's a soft divan off to the side with silk and some velvet cloth sitting over the top of it. There is a sweetened wine sitting on the table nearby, and a little decanter and a little crystal stopper on top that you can pull.
Yeah.
And
cool.
Clayton
Is there a
turns.
window?
There's a window. Yes. Clayton turns to you and goes, "Make yourself comfortable. I will be back to discuss this in more further detail later. You know, if we did insult your house, we definitely want to make sure we stay on proper terms, but we definitely also need to make sure this goes through the correct channels. The Empire is very partial when it comes to its paperwork."
Oh, well, you don't need to tell me that, that's for sure. You know how many cousins I've got in the DAT and all that? They cannot stop talking about paperwork, even when they're off the job. So don't worry.
Well, it is one of our biggest joys in life, so I mean, you've got to understand, of course.
Of course. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little off kilter, I feel like. I'm so sorry if I came off a little blunt there. It's been, as you can maybe tell, a bit of an evening. So I'm gonna just take some time and refresh myself. So just give me a knock before you come in, and I'll let you know when I'm ready for more conversation.
Most certainly do that for you,
Thank you
Mr.
so much.
Copperpetal. Now, what district of the Outer Clan houses do you belong to? That accent, I recognize it from somewhere.
Well, the families from all over the districts, actually. We're pretty large. I'm surprised you haven't heard of us more, but I actually did a lot of exchanges in Avalon, working... exactly, yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much again, and I certainly hope there was no offense that occurred. I did not intend. And then he brings his hand out for a handshake.
This is a big hearty handshake and smile like, well, this is certainly much more to my liking. So again, I'll take some time to freshen up and get that paperwork ready. I can't wait.
As you shake his hand, Clay, and you see him bring his hand back, and you see him start scrubbing his fingers as he turns and leaves the room, as you feel how soft his fingertips were next to your calloused ones.
Cool. So I'm gonna close the door. I'm gonna lock it. I'm gonna loot all the valuable things you just described. And then I'll push the window out, grappling hook, and just whoop out the ship and go.
So in your inventory, if you'll put in silks and velvet and crystal wine decanter, those cloths, however, do weigh 10 pounds each for each one you're going to be carrying. No, the silk one weighs 3 pounds. The other one weighs 10. So
how many do I have?
You have 2. It's just the 2 you're able to grab, and they're a rather large roll blanket, so you have to kind of rope them up and stuff them in your bag.
Great.
You go over.
Just for the sake of canon, could he have found an elf woman-sized black leather jacket there?
Sure. There's a beautiful black leather jacket, probably being held for a very unique guest at some point.
I see that the manager had a special guest over, probably. And I'm going to also do my level best to make it look like there was a tussle in this room, and that this poor noble has been abducted.
Roll brains. Let's see how successful you are at creating a crime scene.
Totally.
That is a critical failure, Clay. Do you want to do something that will potentially impact all of your allies in the future, or something that will harm you now?
We're not his allies. He doesn't even know us yet. That's not fair.
Right now is me. You better freaking choose yourself, Robert.
I don't like noble dwarves. You don't my ally.
There's an ace strategy by McSherry. You could reroll.
Bless.
Oh, much better. Okay, you that time
Victory,
19.
MVP.
You did very good that time. So it does look like someone may have come in here. There's a bit of a tussle. You even like bit your lip and got a little blood on something.
Yeah.
And it looks like maybe you were dragged off. And then
Great,
I'm
now
sure
you're leaving your DNA at a crime scene. How dare you?
They don't have that technology, probably, maybe. I don't know.
They don't have that technology. Probably, maybe, he says. All right, and Clay, you go over to the portal at the edge, and you attempt to open it. Now, aboard these ships, these ones are Aether ships. They're an airship that is designed to travel through the void. So that window is hermetically sealed. How do you intend on opening it?
Is it sword strong?
You could try and see if it is. Give me a strong roll, and I'll give you a +2 for leverage with your weapon to see if you can try to find a way to open it or pop it.
Actually, what I would like to do, this is gonna go. Actually, I'll try the sword. It's gonna be quieter here. So, what roll do you need me to make?
Strong roll.
Strong roll.
Yeah.
It can't be with my sword attack.
No, it's not with your sword attack.
Okay, good.
All right, that gives you a 12, which is not high enough to break the seals on the door or on the window.
Okay, then I'm like, all right, so it's gonna be a quicker get out then, and I'm gonna take some of the spark powder out of my bag.
Oh boy! You grab a hold of some explosives,
line the window, and just click.
All right, and as we see Clay preparing to blow a hole inside of the ship, we'll go ahead and we'll change scenes once more. We see the swamps as the camera kind of moves past them of Miocenis. As we're traveling through these areas, we see a whole bunch of flora and fauna, small mammalian creatures kind of crawling about, things that look similar to beavers, things that, kind of hide and live in the swamplands. But then we see large chitinous insects, some beetles the size of Mack trucks. We see a whole bunch of scythe-clawed mantis all jump on top of this large beetle and just start tearing it to pieces and biting in with those mandibles that they have and chewing out big sections of it. And as we move past that, we see the rustling of the underbrush. We see another one of these mantis, mottled purple and brown, kind of matching into the surroundings near the mushrooms and whatnot, kind of moving through the undergrowth. And we see the leaves being pushed aside. We see the muck barely being messed with. And then we see its multifaceted eyes looking around a corner and seeing Nova and Kaizen sitting on a stone nearby. We switch back over to Kaizen and Nova. Nova has emptied her stomach. Kaizen, yours is still crawling a little bit. It's like you don't have your sea legs. It's going to take a great deal of time. But you are okay for the moment. And we have the two of you on this map here, which we will share with the crew. And we have the two of you just kind of sitting in this narrow canyon. As you're trying to getting your bearings, you see between the muck and stone, large boulders around you, large rises in the stone. There's actually, now that you look at it, fragments all in this marsh. Damaged sections of some ancient civilization that probably existed here who knows how long ago.
Probably about the same, before the bombs and the genofation stuff.
Why have we not shifted yet? This is very strange.
I don't know what you're talking about, shifting. Also, would you just, Ty, were we supposed to go? You just kind of disappeared and started smiling down at your lap.
Sorry, but yes, it is the two of your turns. What are you doing at the moment as you speak to each other?
Do I know where we are?
Make a brains roll. Let's see if you can, I don't know, triangulate anything about the position that you're in. There's a 15. So we do have a map of Miocenis here, which I can share as well.
Okay. Well, mostly I just wanted to know if I knew where we were. Blah, 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 blah. I can't talk. I'm so excited. I don't know why. if we were anywhere near a town or a place to be safe and not dead by bug.
Well, with that roll that you have, looking around the area, you don't recognize it as someplace you've camped in. But there is a large mountain range to your east that you think you recognize. If that's the case, after traveling through here, after being an elf and understanding a lot of surroundings and having flown over the world, you're somewhere in the Koslov Marsh. A very, very dangerous place.
Okay, so don't get too freaked out. This isn't the best place for us to be hanging out. There's lots of big bugs and gnashing, pokey stuff. But I recognize that mountain range over there. So that's good. Maybe we can triangulate somewhere to go where there's other people. I don't know if you know this, but you're an elf. It also, even though you're a little darker, but we're technically not legal, although Miocenis is a little wishy-washy as far as like legality or whatever, so we might be okay. Am I giving you too much information? I get told I talk too much.
So I'm not allowed? What does that mean?
So like some people just arbitrarily decided, right, that if you have like pointy ears or you're related to some assholes from long ago, that you're like not allowed to be alive. So that's the world we live in right now. Although actually maybe it's changed in the 100 years I've been gone. I don't know.
Well, this does entirely make sense from last I remember. Well, perhaps we should get out of this swamp if it is a dangerous place and keep our heads low if we are not allowed.
Well, kind of in the middle, because up high there's a lot of things, but down low there's a lot of things too. So just kind of keep your eyes up and down and try to keep one up and one down at the same time.
Literal. Got it.
One up and one down at the same time.
So, this may strike you as a strange question, but we have not shifted yet. Is this... time is acting very strange here. Is it constant? It seems constant.
Yeah, we have linear time here. Well, kind of. It gets a little tricky when you start like zipping in through some like quantum tunnels, and it's sort of weird, and I don't quite understand it. I tried. But anyway, yeah, no, normally it goes forward.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Forward is so boring sounding, Kaizen. You actually have to wait.
So what you're saying is this awkward, dangerous situation isn't going to go away if we just sit on this rock for a few minutes?
No, probably. Usually if you sit in one place in Miocenis, things get worse.
Both of you roll aware as she says that.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Oh, shit. That's not my best stat. Oh, dear.
There's a 5 from Nova.
Okay.
There's an
I'm
11.
not paying attention.
I don't feel good, okay?
Either one of you having some problems there. So I would say that Kaizen, you hear it before Nova does. There's a scratch on a rock nearby, something that just very lightly, it's out of place. There are noises you're hearing here, there's wind you're hearing here, but that almost sounded like a blade being dragged across stone to you without the ring of metal.
Did you hear that?
No. What?
There's something over there. Something like scratching or scraping. We really should move.
You heard it from this direction, off to your right. If you look at the little map, you see the arrow.
Over there.
Did you hear it? Okay. We are going to go to the opposite way of that scrapey sound that he heard.
All right. So you start moving away from it and up a little bit of a mountain pathway, kind of keeping an ear out. You off to the side of you, Cosmo begins growling. Nova.
What's up, Cosmo?
You see is just kind of staring behind you. You travel up this path a little ways. You see broken stairwells. You see a large cliff in front of you. At least 20 feet below you is a drop into murky water. You don't know how deep it is, but it is there. And there's an old watchtower here that's broken. Across the way, you happen to see something that looks like a dwarven statue that has had the entire head literally removed. It looks like on purpose. It didn't fall away, decayed to time. It is shattered and broken off into chiseled pieces. Do
you want to go to the creepy decapitated dwarf man, or do you want to go to the creepy wizard tower thing over there?
Well, the tower perhaps would be a bit of a viewpoint for us to see if there is a path to these mountains.
Yeah, let's do that. Gosh, I haven't had any, like, a view in forever. Let's go see the view. Let's go.
Let's go see the view. Yes, let's go.
All right, so you head over towards the tower, I'm assuming? That's the view you're talking about?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we're not going to stand on top of a decapitated dwarf head stump.
What do you see?
Both of you step up the
What's your
pathway.
elf and I see? We both have them.
You step up the pathway a little ways, and you find yourselves on top of this old watchtower overlooking large segments of the marshes. From where you're at, you can see something that looks like a gun battery that used to be here. Some really ancient cannons that have been corroded away to time. This was probably a fort at one point, and it's overlooking a large, what might have been a battlefield at one point, a long time ago. You can still see remnants of objects kind of sticking up out of the muck all through that, and most of it's been reclaimed by the shroom forest and the ferns down below you. But far away in the distance, you see a small rise. You see smoke rising off of what could be a community. It's hard to see through the forest, but you can see the tops of a wooden structure.
Oh. Do you want to go that way?
I would say so. We're going to need some assistance, and this is a very dreary place. I would like to move on.
Well, it does. To be fair, it doesn't get less dreary for the most part. But yeah, optimism is key, right?
That's right. That is absolutely correct, and I'm sure we will find all of our hopes and dreams on the other side of this.
Kaizen, with your previous aware roll, you now hear something that's like as of large diaphanous wings, larger than any you've heard, clicking in the wind.
Okay, so now scrapey thing is fluttery thing, and there's something flying back there. We should really get along. Now that we're on a
Bees in the
tower.
form of butterflies.
So in order to head down from here, you either need to climb the cliff face and head towards the water, or you need to go back the way you came.
So I'm gonna assume Nova, having been here before, probably doesn't remember, an herbivore, diaphanous, nice, friendly butterfly thing.
I'm sure.
I mean, Nova did know from Alice that there were a series of different insectoids that had been farmed. Basically, they've been insect husbandry exists on Miocenis. In some places, they have these things that are like giant mosquito hawks that actually hunt other bugs that they will raise, but they're not anywhere near this marsh that you're aware of. What?
We should probably go. I'm in character. Well, mostly, I'm still just nervous. I'm just playing it off. Let's go to the other direction, away from the thing that you keep hearing, because for the most part, winged things here are probably not something that we really want to be around.
I wasn't suggesting that we go back toward the flying thing. I meant move away from the flying thing. So, perhaps. How are you at climbing?
Pretty good. Had to check my character sheet.
It's possible for me. Let's go.
You're gonna start climbing down towards the water below?
I'll let him go. I'll go first.
Okay.
And then if he falls.
All right, so we see Nova and we see Kaizen moving towards the edge of this old battered fortress. They go over some of the broken stone blocks and bricks, and they head over towards the actual cliff face where they start preparing to go down. Do you use anything to assist with this, or is this a free climb? It's only about 25-30 feet up. It's not a huge distance, but it could be painful if you fall.
I just don't have anything. So
That's
unless
true.
we see it or Kaizen has it, we wouldn't use it. I don't suspect that any rope or anything left in this old place would probably be good for us to climb, given the dampness.
So
Possibly.
I have rope and pulleys and a number of other systems right here in my bag.
He reaches into his bag and he pulls out some rope. Give me an agile roll, Kaizen, to tie it off. We'll see how good your tie is.
Oh, good.
That is a 19 plus 1 is a 20. So you are expertly tying this thing off and supporting it. And then Nova begins climbing down the rope. I'm going to say that unless you're imperiled, it won't be a difficult climb down with that rope.
All right. As she goes down too, she's going to admire. That's very good rope tying. I know I'm a pirate.
Well,
Or was.
I'm just going to compartmentalize that, and we'll come back to it another time.
So Nova starts climbing down the rope with an 11. That's fine. So you make it about halfway. Kaizen starts going over the edge and starts preparing to climb the rope as well. The scene changes again slightly as we see the edge of stone near where we're at. This multi-eyed, multifaceted eye vision kind of comes up and we see, and then its head kind of pops up over the ridge and we can see Kaizen there like looking down and starting to grab things. And as he proceeds to start moving down towards it, this figure starts moving very quickly in his direction. Kaizen, give me one more aware roll.
Come on, aware, don't fail me now.
That is a 15. You see something mottled brown and gray that seems to have its colors changed slightly to match the stonework and the broken fragments of the building. It is a large shape, huge head with like a bulbous and bladed end, all chitinous, very spiky, with two large arms in kind of a hook formation in its front and a large set of wings on its back. You are facing a hunter mantis.
So I'm going to assume that that is not one of the friendly things.
You can't, well, I mean, Nova's quite a bit down the rope to answer you at this point, so you wouldn't be able to hear, she wouldn't be able to see what you're talking about.
Great. Yes.
Well, then
Don't let go. You gotta like.
As we see that creature kind of move forward, it seems to recognize the moment that Kaizen sees it. You see it turn pink and purple and begin rushing towards you. And we will change scenes.
Joy.
Matches my her.
A moment. So everybody, thank you very much for being here tonight. This is actually our break time. We'll be gone for about 10 minutes.
Already?
Once we return, we will be moving back over to Patchy, back over to Kiara and Nohu as we determine what occurs within their little town space. And then we'll see if Clay survives, if he makes it out of this problem he's put himself in. We'll see if Kaizen and Nova get eaten by a bug in the very first episode. We'll see what happens next. So thank you all for being here, and we'll see you shortly.